I'm Arlene Herson, and I'm glad that you can be here. You know, sometimes I think, who would I like to have on the show? Barbra Streisand, Bette Midler, Joan Rivers, Elizabeth Taylor, Liza Minnelli. Well, on this show, we have them all. They may not be here in person, but my guest brings them to life in a different way. She impersonates them. Her talent, however, is as great as the people she does impressions of. She has a marvelous singing voice. She's a superb comedian, and in addition to that, she's a wonderful artist. She is a fabulous entertainer. My guest is Marilyn Michaels, and we'll meet her right after these messages.
Children are the largest group of Americans living below the poverty line. They have to reach higher for what others take for granted. Health care, balanced meals, encouragement to learn. But with help early on, children in your community can gain the skills to get out from below the poverty line. It takes programs like Success by Six and people like you to help them take the first step. Call to learn more. Change the world of a child, and you change the world.
Vince, that new dummy cam is great.
Yeah, it'll sure give people a whole new outlook on what it's like when you don't wear a safety belt.
I think they'll get the picture.
You could learn a lot from a dummy. Buckle your safety belt. She is one of America's toughest drug enforcement agents. Last year, she helped convict 90 drug dealers, seize several tons of crack and marijuana, and close down 10 major drug operations. She is a 68-year-old grandmother named Irma. She set up a community drug watch that is not only changing her neighborhood, but its future. There are many ways to help in your community. Call the Points of Light Foundation. Do something good. Feel something real.
I'm Arlene Herson. We're here at the Friars Club with my very special guest, Marilyn Michaels. Thank you.
Hi. Can I take you with me with that great intro? You do that so great. I can't travel without you anymore, Arlene.
Well, you know, I've become such a fan of yours, especially in doing all this research. I'll go any place with you.
Aww,
except,
sweet.
you know, I feel like you're so many different people. It's
Yeah.
just, I almost want to say, will the real Marilyn Michaels stand up?
Well, this is her. Here I am. You've got it. Whoever she is, this is. But we're all a lot of different people. I mean, we don't show every phase, you know. Not everybody sees everything, but we're lots of people. People don't realize how many people they have stored inside of them. I just make a lot of money doing it.
You know, but still, it's different, because I might feel like Barbra Streisand, but I don't look like Barbra Streisand.
Right.
When you do Barbra Streisand or Joan Rivers or Liza Minnelli or Elizabeth Taylor, I mean, you do hundreds of women, I'm not going to mention them, you really look like them. Do you feel like them?
Well, I don't know. You know, like when I do Barbara, I just sort of get into her, and like it's a thing with the eyes, and I just become her. I don't know how I do that, but I become her.
People ask me how I do it, and I don't know. I do feel like the people. It's kind of getting into their psyche. Becoming them, you know, and I can't even explain how it has something to do with sense memory, with the ear, being able to hear, and then relate it and recreate the person. But with the voice, it starts with the voice, and then the physical takes over, and before you know it, you're a different person.
And do you feel different? Do you really feel different inside when you're doing something?
Yes, very much so. I mean, I don't know what it takes. When I do Joan Rivers, oh, can we talk? Yes. And I know it's all my eyes go down, and it's in the throat. I just become Joan, you know.
You know, it's true. You just did it.
Yeah.
You just did it. You just became these women.
It doesn't always come that easily.
Do you have to like them?
Usually, I thought that I did. At the beginning, I did. I said, you have to like who you do. I mean, and I do. I love Betty Davis, and I love most of the people that I do. But occasionally, I have to do somebody that I don't know that well. When I was doing a series called The Copycats, and we taped in London, and it was with Rich Little and Frank Gorsh and all the great impressionists. And I was the only gal on the show. And they wanted me to do Edith Bunker at that time. All in the Family was the biggest thing. And we were in England. I had never seen Gene Stapleton doing Edith Bunker. So how was I to get the character? Everybody came over to me, and everybody did their rendition of, oh, Archie, yeah. Oh, terrific. Oh, Gloria. By the time we were ready to tape, I kind of had this, you know, I mean, she's a Queen's housewife, and I don't know how I got it. I did. Yeah, but by osmosis, sort of.
You know, I heard you have to be born with it. I hear that in order to have the ear, you have to really be born with it.
I think you do. I really think you do, but a lot of people don't realize that some of our greatest actresses, some of the greatest stars have a terrific ability for mimicry. Meryl Streep is a born mimic. And all the accents that she does in all these different movies, that's all part of mimicry. She has it in the ear, and she's able to do. I mean, if she is doing, you know, the French lieutenant's woman, you know, she's doing a British character, whatever she's doing, you know, or the Polish countess, you know, she was very upset and everything when she had to do Sophie's Choice. It was I'm starting to sound like Ivana Trump over there. But she has that great ability for mimicry, and comes through in her work.
Yeah, you know, yours is absolutely incredible, you know, so it kind of, as I mentioned, when I see the people, I really think that you are the people, but has anybody complained? Has anybody said, don't do me?
Yeah, Barbra Streisand's mother was a little upset about it, thinking that I cross my eyes when I do Barbra, which I really don't do. I just invert one eye a little bit. Sometimes when you're looking at Barbra, she looks like she's not cross-eyed at all. But she was a bit upset about that, and Barbra was upset that I wasn't dressing the way she eventually started to dress when I first did her. But most of the people that I do absolutely love it. They adore it. Julie Andrews said, I know I arrived when you did me. And Brooke Shields loved it when I did her in the Playboy magazine shoot, which I think you're going to be showing some of those.
We're going to talk about that, as a matter of fact, later. Because there's one more thing. There is one woman that I want to talk about because she complained. I read that your mother said that you tried to imitate her once, and she said, if she imitates me, I will kick her in the... This is a family program, so I won't use the word she used. She said, I will kick her in the rear end. She also said, just a picture of your mother, and then I'm going to let you pick. Right. She said that she taught her children early to talk dirty because she didn't want boring children.
Oh, absolutely.
So tell me about Mom.
Absolutely. Well, first you have to know about my mother and who my mother is, and I think you know a little bit about my mother's Friedel Oysher. And she's a great star and a great performer, and I started out working with Mom when I was about 8 years old. The worst thing you can say to a Jewish mother is, if you don't take me with you, I'm going to stop eating. And Mom used to go on tour and travel as a concert artist and on the Yiddish, to star on the Yiddish stage. And the concept that I would never eat again really frightened her, and she took me with her. And I started to work on, you know, Christmas Vacation, Hanukkah, Passover. That's when I performed, and I performed with her. They used to call me the Wunderkind. I was this little showbiz, you know, little bratty show business kid who was really a prodigy. Yeah.
But, I mean, you come from a family. Your mother's brother was Moshe Oysher? Yes. Am I saying that right?
Moshe Oysher, you've got it perfect. He was the great cantor. And I come from this marvelous heritage, family heritage of music and liturgical music. And a lot of people don't know this. You know, my dad is retired from the Metropolitan Opera. His name is Harold Sternberg, and Daddy, I got my background in opera, in cantorial music, and as a matter of fact, we did an album that I produced called an Oysher album, which I don't have that with me today. I have my new album with me today. But on the Oysher album, I'm singing Yiddish folk songs and cantorial music, and with my mother and my uncle Moshe.
Wow, incredible. So, obviously good genes.
Yeah, oh, very
and why not
the best. the best, Arlene.
But I mentioned the introduction because before we take a break, but you have a wonderful voice, and you were trained to be an opera singer.
Yes,
they wanted you to be an opera singer. Your mother wanted you to be an opera singer,
yeah.
and here you are.
You know all your, you really know your stuff.
Okay, well, but you didn't do that, so we're going to talk about
Right.
what you are, which is better, more fun for us.
I think so.
After we take this break. More Speaking with Marilyn Michaels. We'll be right back.
He protects all living things in the forest. But he can't do it alone. Please don't play with matches. Put out your campfires. And never, ever forget the words of Smokey Bear.
Only you can prevent forest fires.
Remember how good it felt the first time you gave 5? Well, now there's another way to give 5. Set a goal to give more. 5 hours a week and 5% of your income to the causes you care about. It'll make you feel like a winner every day of your life. So give more. Give 5. Call 1-800-55-GIVE-5.
The time to begin being a good mother is long before your baby is born. Start by seeing a doctor. Regular medical care beginning early in your pregnancy can prevent problems as your baby develops.
Eat nutritiously, don't use alcohol, and by all means, don't smoke. Get your doctor's okay before using prescription or over-the-counter drugs.
Remember, what you do affects your baby throughout your entire pregnancy. For more information, write the Will Rogers Institute, White Plains, New York.
October 1987. A small child is rescued from an abandoned well. No country comes to the aid of a child the way we do. Yet today, millions of children need our help, lost in an education system unable to prepare them for today's competitive world. Imagine if that same effort went into keeping the promise that every child gets the best education and has a future. Call 1-800-96-PROMISE for information on changing the schools in your community.
We're back with Marilyn Michaels, the real Marilyn Michaels.
Yes.
You know, because in the beginning, I mean, you really do so many people, and visually you become them. You have a new album out, which is a whole different aspect, really. Which is called Marilyn Michael Voices.
I'm so excited about it. I really am. It was inspired, the album Voices was inspired by Sammy Davis. We did a lot together, a lot of television with Sammy, and he was a great inspiration to me. And in the 60s, he had a record out where it's a collector's item today, where he sang in his own voice on one side of the album, on the other side he did all the impressions that he was known for. And he said, why did you do something like that? And it took me about 15 years, and then I finally did it and put it together in this wonderful album. I'm real proud of it. I produced it with my conductor Marty Henney, and it's doing real well. They just sold it out in Tower Records the second time, so I'm real excited about it.
You know, it's I've been listening to it in my office, and I've been putting the cassette in, and I also have the cassette in addition to the album.
Yes.
And you know, it's different when you see it, but you hear the voices, and you really do sound like them.
I know.
When you mentioned Sammy Davis Jr., I interviewed him. Actually, he was one of my favorite. I thought he was wonderful.
The greatest.
But he did an album, as you say, he did impressions on
Right.
one side, his voice on the other.
Right.
Now, I mentioned in the beginning, in the introduction before, you have a wonderful voice. I mean, you sing like Barbra Streisand. Your voice is as good as her.
Thank
I mean, you
you.
really do. You sing like Liza Minnelli. You're as strong. Your range. Do you ever want to say, I want you to listen to me? I don't want to be those other people.
Well, Arlene, when I'm performing and doing concerts or the act in Atlantic City, I do a lot of singing as myself. And people who know me and know of me as a singer start yelling up, do something in your own voice, you know? So I do that. But a lot of the singers today, and I have so many friends who are terrific singers. They're great, they're dynamite. And they can't get a job. They can't get a job. They just can't, they're not working, and they sing great. So I'm grateful. I know I can do it. I enjoy doing it. But comedy has opened up a tremendous world for me. It started when I did the National Company of Funny Girl after Barbra Streisand. I was the first person to do Funny Girl, and that was the greatest role. It's difficult to find another role that matches up to playing Fanny Bryce. But in doing that, after that, it opened up this world of comedy for me and impressions, and it's all part of what I do. So that if I went up and I said, well, I'm going to sing for 45 minutes to an hour, I think I would get bored with that. Because I love so much listening to, hearing the laughter. That's the important thing to me, and it's like a shot of adrenaline, you know. It's like a fix. Once you have a laugh, you hear a laugh. There's nothing like it.
Absolutely, and also you're doing something. I mean, I asked the question, but you're doing something very unique. You are the best of what you're doing.
Thank you, Arlene.
You really are. I mean, I'm looking at the album. I'm looking at some of these people. I mean, we have a picture.
It's a little
here.
unique, so.
Dr. Ruth.
Well, I tell you something, she is very, very cute, and I know this, and she was terrific, and I wanted to ask you something, Arlene, because you're a very sweet lady, and you're very cute, and you're very together, you dress very well, and you have nice blue eyes, but I wanted to ask one question, and that is, how is your sex life?
Oh, perfect. Okay. Oh, good. I don't have to answer that because you're not really Dr. Ruth. You know something? You almost convinced. I was almost going to tell you the whole thing, and then I said, "Wait a minute. That's not really Dr. Ruth. That's Marilyn Monroe."
Marilyn Monroe. I mean, that's my favorite one to do. But of course, you know, when I do her, and I have to put the wig and the makeup and everything, and actually do the transformation. The wonderful thing about doing the impressions, I snapped right out of it. The thing about doing them is that women fantasize about who they want to be. They want to be Cher. Hey man, it's like just really so terrific, and I have a new boyfriend. He's 12 years old. They want to be Elizabeth Taylor.
Oh, she's so wonderful, Arlene. Did you ever interview Liz? Well, I want to tell you, I was never fat. I was only bloated.
I get a chance to be her. I get a chance to be all these people.
You know, fantasy. I have something else here. I have all these wonderful things here. I have Playboy.
You have Playboy.
Playboy. Now, inside here in Playboy, we're going to show some of the pictures.
You're going to show some?
We're going to show some of the pictures. But, I mean, as we'll see, you do have your clothes on.
That was so great. I did the Playboy shoot. Yeah, it was great.
Wonderful. I mean, and some of the people here. Here's Bette Midler, which...
Oh, my dears, it was so wonderful, you know. And when I did it for Playboy, I got to do, there were 3 naked women standing in the back of me.
Actually, they wanted me to do Julie Andrews from the movie that she did, S.O.B., when she did the topless thing. And this was the most bizarre thing because Hefner spent a lot of money on the shoot. My particular shoot, they had sets. It was very Hollywood. So when I did that Playboy shoot, and I was Julie Andrews, I'm standing, you see in the photo, I'm standing on the top of a mountain, you know, a la The Sound of Music. And I have these two little little things were covering my boobs, and there were 2 little midgets as the little Von Trapp children. And they had music piped into the studio. The hills are alive with this. It was bizarre. And here they wanted me to show my boobs, and I took a few pictures like that, and when I saw the pictures, I said, the tits look great, but forget about it. I do not want to see myself coming and going for the rest of my life. You know, you're on a train, you're on the subway, you're on the bus, and someone opens up Playboy, and there they are, the boobies are there. Forget about it, Arlene. I did not want to see that.
Okay, speaking about boobies, what about this one?
That was wonderful, and we had a crew working on that shoot because of Dolly Parton. Their concept of Dolly Parton was that she's all boobs. And so they created this bra, which was about 60 pounds, and then they hoisted me up, and I don't know if you can tell in the shot, but I'm flying in the shot to indicate that Dolly is airborne because of her inflated...
Okay, I got it. I was wondering why she was flying.
She's inflated.
You know, it was because of that Playboy magazine, actually, that you met your husband. We're going to take a break because I want to hear about this. I mean, how many? I got my ad through the New York Times, right? Or my job through the New York Times as it goes. I met my husband through my through an ad in Playboy.
I certainly did. It's the best way.
Okay, I'm getting tongue-tied. We'll take a break and we'll be right back. We're speaking with Marilyn Michaels here at the Friars Club in New York City. We'll be back in a moment.
All Because disaster strikes someone every single day. There's always going to be one more night someone needs food, shelter, and a place to rest. Please support the American Red Cross. Because without your help, one more night could be hard to come by.
That's my dad. And that's Mom. Dad's got an idea, a way to get rid of all the grody garbage that's polluting the world. He's invented a big rocket ship to shoot all the garbage into outer space. Mom's not sure, but Dad says his invention will save the world.
There's an easier way to save the world. Recycle. For your free recycling action guide, write Recycle. Environmental Defense Fund, 257 Park Avenue South, New York, New York.
You don't have to embarrass a friend to keep her from drinking and driving. You could just explain things to her.
It's 6:45 and our party's at 9 and I still got shopping to do. But if you drive, you'll have to drop me off and pick me up and then I'll be late and you won't be ready. So I'm gonna drive and drop you off and then I'm gonna do all the things I need to do and I'll be back in time to help you set things up. Okay? All right.
Take the keys, call a cab, take a stand. Friends don't let friends drive drunk.
What is a man? A man stands up for himself. A man looks you in the eye. A man shares his strength. A man protects his child. If you're a man with a woman who's pregnant, help her get the care she needs now. Because if you don't, for help, just call.
We're here with Marilyn Michaels, the learning about you. I want to learn about you. You know, all these people are wonderful that you do, but the real Marilyn Michaels is
The
really
real Marilyn Michaels is a mommy.
Yeah, a mommy, but
It's a
even before
mommy.
a mommy, go back because you met your husband, Playboy magazine.
Well,
What happened?
I would the best personal, the personal ads. Just do a Playboy shoot, and you'll meet a husband fast. Oh yes. Peter had seen the Playboy shoot, and he saw me. I think it was on a Diet 7-Up commercial with Rich Little, and he had heard me on a radio show, morning radio show, and he said, "That's the gal for me. She sounds like she has a lot of pizzazz." And he wrote me a fan letter. And the fan letter said, "Oh, well, I'm a doctor, I went to Yale, I'm a professor, all the good things." And at that time I was seeing someone, I was living with someone, and I wasn't that committed to really spending the rest of my life with that person. And when my press agent got the letter, he intercepted this letter. He said, "This is great, this guy looks," he put a picture in, he said, "This guy looks great, why don't you invite him to a concert?" And we invited him to a concert that I was doing in downtown Manhattan, late night Manhattan nightlife. Peter came to the concert, didn't get in that night because he wasn't dressed bizarrely enough. New York nightlife is very bizarre. So when I found out about that, I called him and I said, the most wonderful thing for a fan to do is to connect with the person they want to connect with. I mean, they don't expect that it's going to happen. It's just sort of a little wish, a little game to play.